that everybody on the right is hating Tucker for. I mean, he's an Iranian stooge. He gets paid by Qatar. He done betrayed America. He's no longer America first. He's Iran first. Well, let's see why they're saying that.
Mr. President, thank you very much for doing this. There is a pause, or seems to be a pause, in the war between the United States and Iran. How do you think this will end? How would you like to see it end?
We did not start this war, and we do not want this war to continue in any way. From the very beginning, it was the motto of my administration that I always adhere to, and that was fostering the national unity inside the country, and also fostering peace and tranquility and friendship with the neighboring countries and with the rest of the world.
The American President Donald Trump has...
Whoa, so you pretty much saying that, look, we didn't even want this war. We were just trying to be the peaceful one in the region. Huh? I mean, hey, man, that's a hard sell to the neoconservatives. That's a very hard sell.
Said that the United States bombed your enrichment facilities because the government of Iran refused to give up its nuclear program. And that there can be no peace until Iran does give up that nuclear program. Would you be willing to give up the nuclear program in exchange for peace?
I would like to tell you what has happened, and it was Netanyahu since 1984 has created this false mentality that Iran seeks a nuclear bomb, and it has insinuated that Iran is trying to develop a nuclear bomb in the past, and it has put it in the minds of every U.S. president since then, and to make them believe that we would like to have a nuclear bomb. But the truth is that we have never been after developing a nuclear bomb, not in the past, not presently, or in the future, because this is wrong, and this is in contrast to the religious decree or the fatwa, which has been issued by His Eminence, the Supreme Leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran, that so it is religiously forbidden for us to go after a nuclear bomb. And this was always corroborated thanks to our cooperation with IAEA, because they were always there that to verify this and to substantiate that we have never wanted a nuclear bomb. But unfortunately, this cooperation was disturbed by the unlawful attacks against our nuclear facilities.
So you have, according to news reports, withdrawn your cooperation from IAEA, the International Nuclear Regulatory Agency. And so there's, I suppose, no way for the rest of the...
All right, so what he's talking about is that it's religiously, like, pretty much forbidden, is that pretty much Islamic fatwa. A fatwa is a religious ruling. So Khomeini, the Ayatollah Khomeini, has publicly issued a fatwa, a religious ruling declaring that the production, stockpiling, and use of nuclear weapons is forbidden, which is haram in Islam. This is based on Islamic ethical principles of preserving human life, prohibition of mass destruction, and accountability to God. That's gonna be very hard to sell to some of my pro-Israeli guys. I'm sorry.
World to know how much uranium you're enriching and to what extent, to what percentage it's being enriched. And so is there any way to verify, and would you be willing to allow other nations to verify that you are not building nuclear weapons?
Mr. Carson, sir, I would like to draw your attention to the fact that we were right in the middle of holding talks with the United States. And the President of the United States invited us to hold such talks in order to have peace. And we were told during the process of these negotiations and talks that as long as we don't give the permission to Israel, they are not going to attack you. And we were going to have the next round of the talks very soon. But in the middle of it, suddenly Israel torpedoed the negotiating table. We were sitting at the negotiating table when it happened. And by doing this, they totally ruined and destroyed diplomacy. In order to answer your question with regards to the surveillance or the supervision over our nuclear program, I would like to say that we are ready to hold talks over it. We have never been the party that has run away from verification. We stand ready to have these supervisions, but unfortunately, as a result of the United States unlawful attacks against our nuclear centers and installations, many of the pieces of equipment and the facilities there have been severely damaged. Therefore, we don't have any access to them. We cannot see, and unless this access is going to be back there again, we have to wait for it and to see what happens and how much they have been damaged so that we can go for the supervision.
Okay, I mean, damn. So even even the Iranian president is saying that, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, y'all did a number on that nuclear base. I'll give it to you. All right, then. Well, when the Iranian president giving you the dub, then hey, it was officially rendered inoperable. Shout out to Trump bombing Fordo. And all right, so shout out to my man Vlastin. He says, short vid in Discord. I got you. And shout out to Hellbat. He says 60% enrichment equals not pursuing a bomb, I guess. According to religious fatwa, it is forbidden for Muslims to go for this. Well, Muslims in Iran, according to the supreme leader, to build a bomb. Now, that's a tough one to sell. I ain't even gonna lie, because if you're not Muslim, then you're not hearing that, to be quite honest with you. Even if I truly believe it, which I'm like, to be quite honest, I'm like 70-30 on it, but that's a hard sell.
There have been news reports that your government believes that the IAEA was spying on the government of Iran and passing information to Israel. Do you believe that? And if so, do you have evidence that that's true that the world could see?
I would like to tell you that we were, yes, somehow pessimistic about the activities of the IAEA, because somehow we realized that Israel could get information from the inspections which were carried out by the IAEA, but it never prevented the IAEA from carrying out their activities inside Iran, and they had full access to supervise and to have surveillance over our nuclear facilities. But there was this lack of trust as a result of the last report by IAEA. The type of the report and the way they prepared the report somehow gave an excuse to the Israeli regime and prepared the ground for their unlawful and unauthorized attack against our nuclear facilities. And even after that, the IAEA failed to condemn these attacks.
Here's the thing. When it comes to these IAEA and international laws, when it comes to nuclear energy, I'm gonna be real with you. When is international law ever really affected us or Israel? That's the problem here. Even when we bombed Japan, we were brought to the international court and we got away. So I always do say, I hear when people's arguments about, under international law, it's wrong. And you're right. You're right. But who's going to enforce it on America, of all people, of all countries? I'm sorry. Who's going to enforce it? Even if I agree with you, who's going to enforce it?
Way to stop them. And this ran counter to the international law, and this resulted in a widespread lack of trust among the Iranian legislators, and the public opinion here.
You've suggested that you were anxious to resolve your conflicts with the United States through diplomacy and that was derailed by war. Would you be willing to restart diplomacy? And could you tell us in general but precise terms the kind of deal you would be willing to accept?
You see, I am of the belief that we could very much easily resolve our differences and conflicts with the United States through dialogue.
Hey, shout out to Maine. He says AI assisted can't dig and repair a watch alone. I mean, hey, shout out to Monty. Says not true, Maine. It can. I mean, like, god damn it, Monty and Valid, what can it do? You're damn near about to say, yeah, it can have your baby's next. It's like, bruh.
And talks, and the international law would serve as the
Don't answer that question, actually.
framework or the basis for a deal in which the rights of all nations, Iranian nation, would be respected. But unfortunately, it was Netanyahu that destroyed these diplomacy and these diplomatic efforts. We have always, we never wanted anything beyond the respect for our rights, rightful rights, enshrined in international law. But as I said, it was Netanyahu that brought unrest to our region and is fomenting unrest and tensions in the region. As I have always said, we have always been after peace. It has been my motto. It has been my belief. It has been my heartfelt opinion that we need to live in peace and harmony during this short and limited time granted to us by God Almighty, to live in peace and tranquility with everybody. And everybody in the world should live like that. But
I mean, guys, he don't sound that bad though. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, bro, sounds kind of cool. Like, and that's not me being pro-Iran, but if he's speaking genuinely, then he's like, look, we're just trying to get to a peace deal and have peace in the Middle East as soon as possible. All right, let's hear him out. But let's go back on that. I'm sorry for pausing on it.
It has been my motto. It has been my belief. It has been my heartfelt opinion that we need to live in peace and harmony during this short and limited time granted to us by God Almighty, to live in peace and tranquility with everybody. And everybody in the world should live like that. But I would also like, on the other hand, to reiterate that our people are capable enough to defend themselves in self-defense during any kind of attack. And I believe that the United States president can very well guide the region and the world to peace and tranquility, or, on the other hand, to lead it to forever wars.
Do you have plans to re-enter negotiations with the United States, with Envoy Steve Witkoff or anyone else? And if not, what do you think will happen?
Oh, guys, let's make sure to double tap that screen and make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, guys. So yes, double tap the screen, like the video, then hit those 3 dots up there in the corner to like and subscribe to the channel, guys. Appreciate the support.
See no problem in re-entering the negotiations. But before that, I have to remind you that because of the atrocities by the Zionist regime, by Israel, not just against my country, but in the whole region, we are now facing a crisis. The people are facing a crisis that we need to put it behind ourselves. Our commanders were off duty. They were spending the night at their homes with their families, but they were killed. And this is considered a war crime according to the international law, because they were off duty, as I said, or our scientists were also killed and assassinated along with their families and their wives and their children. They were also killed.
I mean, but here's the thing, though. If you ask Israel or American media, well, they were hiding behind their family members. Set. That's what I mean. That's what y'all probably tell me. Set. These scientists, the Iranian generals, they were hiding behind their family members, and that's why they had to die. The same way with the Hamas hiding behind civilians, so that's why they had to die. I mean, hey, I already hear the logic trail coming. I already hear how they're gonna try to cover that one up. But yeah, I mean that's no secret. When when Israel kind of got these guys, or when they did kill these guys, they definitely took out everybody around them. But hey, we already know how media is going to frame that. Iranian soldiers, Iranian scientists like to hide behind civilians, right? Right.
Pregnant women, children, they were killed in the atrocities, in the attacks of the Israeli regime. Just because they wanted to kill one single person, they had to demolish and destroy a whole building. And as a result of this, a lot of innocent people were killed. A lot of people were killed. And as I said, there is this crisis that we have to put it behind ourselves. And there is a condition, there is a provision for the restarting the talks. How are we going to trust the United States again? We re-enter the negotiations. Then how can we know for sure that in the middle of the talks, the Israeli regime will not be given the permission again to attack us?
Do you believe the Israeli government?
That's a good point. That's actually a really good point. It's like, one, Israel breaks hella ceasefires, and then two is like Israel did attack them first, and he's kind of sitting there being real with it, like, dog, we was negotiating, and Israel hit us, and then you followed up behind them. So I'm not sure what type of good faith negotiation could we honestly have. And I hear him out on that one. I do believe that was like a bad faith tactic that Trump did on the Iranians. That one scared the shit out of them because we were able to bomb them without them really even knowing it or until it got done. And then two, it kind of put a little bit of distrust in their heart.
Tried to assassinate you?
They did try, yes. And they acted accordingly, but they failed. And as a true believer, I believe that it is in the hands of the God Almighty to determine when a person will die or will not die. If he wills, the God Almighty wills, then you can die when you are walking freely in the streets. And but I would like to tell you that I am not afraid of sacrificing myself for in defense of my country and in safeguarding and defending the sovereignty, the freedom and the independence of my country.
And shout out to my man Maine. He says, "Set, ask ChatGPT if AI can repair a watch." No problem. I'll go ahead and get that up after the video. And he says, Fox Chase, like, bro, we all know they gotta do is play the victim and the Dems will back them. It's literally the same game Dems play. Well, I would say this. When it comes to situations like this, if our true intentions was to, act in good faith with them, I don't believe we'd have did that. But it wasn't our intention. But we got what we wanted. So it is what it is.
I'm willing to give my life, to give blood for that. And nobody here to get it. And in safeguarding and defending the sovereignty, the freedom and the independence of my country, I'm willing to give my life, to give blood for that. And nobody here, none of the government officials is afraid of losing their lives in line of defense. But will it bring security to the region? I mean, bloodshed, more bloodshed, assassination, killing others. Will it bring peace and tranquility and stability to the region?
With respect, can you tell us how you know that you were an assassination target? A week and a half ago, I don't believe I've seen that.
I mean, Fox, I hear you, but this is kind of what I also used on Monty and Luke when I said, okay, well, they do that, but didn't we make a song about bombing them and turning them into a parking lot in the 80s? So, I mean, it may not be as threatening as death to America to you, but making a song about turning a country into a parking lot and bombing them, I mean, that kind of falls on that line. Let's be fair. If we're being fair here.
Confirmed anywhere. How are you certain they tried to kill you?
Of course, it was not the U.S. that was behind the attempt on my life. It was Israel. I was in a meeting. We were discussing the ways to move forward, but thanks to the intelligence by the spies that they had, they tried to bombard the area that we were holding that meeting, in which we were holding that meeting. But as I told you before, it is God who wills when a person will die and give up his life.
Okay, so you survived an assassination attempt. Cool story, bro. But shout out to my man Monty. You like let me in. I so want to talk about this AI/robotics stuff. This Iran guy is just saying what Dems want to hear. AI robotics will actually help Americans. There's so many layers to it, though, like an onion. All right, then, man. Shout out to my man Monty. He said, no, we're going to go ahead and break it down for y'all.
And once again, I would like to emphasize that we are not afraid of martyrdom. We are not afraid of sacrificing our lives for our people, for our independence. And I would like to tell you that this imposed war by the Israeli regime resulted in one thing, and that was more solidarity and unity amongst the Iranian people. And it proved yet...
I mean, I've been said that like, we thought that it was going to cause a regime change, but all it did was actually unite these people against Israel. Like, that's literally all it did. And that's what I've been hearing from a lot of sources, not just, and it's coming from the Iranian president himself. So, I mean, if you don't want to believe him, then I think we're just being delusional if we don't even want to believe him about that. I mean, the man actually got up here and said, yeah, y'all served us a good one on the nuclear facility in Fordo. Like, y'all did y'all damage. He admitted that. So I'm not saying he's telling the complete truth at all times, but he is kind of cooperating with some things I've been hearing.
And unity amongst the Iranian people, and it proved yet once again that the Iranian people, no matter where they are in the whole wide world, they do care about their country, about the sovereignty and the territory.
Fox, those people make songs about bombing Iran, so they make a song, it's okay. Their government has those painted so it's indoctrinated. I mean, aren't we indoctrinated to hate Iran? I mean, bro, we've been hating Iran since the 80s, Fox. I mean, look how old you are. And I mean, bro, we can find somebody from your generation all the way up to mine that hates Iran just as much as you. So we can damn near say it's indoctrinated as well. I believe that the American people have been indoctrinated to hate almost every Muslim nation, damn near. Like, y'all don't even believe that Christians actually live in Muslim nations, and they do. So I can go ahead and flip it on y'all as well.
The integrity of their motherland, and as I said, this brought about more solidarity, and it united us further. Thanks to this act of aggression by the Israeli regime. My proposal is that
Tony, the evil false religion was always in Iran, so that means you always hated them.
The U.S. administration should refrain from getting involved in a war that is not its war, that is not America's war. It is Netanyahu's war that is having its devilish machinations for the whole region. It has its own agenda. He has his own agenda, Netanyahu, I mean, inhuman agenda, and that is having forever wars that go on and on and on. And this is my proposal to the United States, not to be fooled by Netanyahu, not to be dragged into this kind of war.
They are actually.
Many Americans,
like, a lot of people don't understand about Iran's history, and we kind of been fed the American version of it. But the Iranian people did not like the Shah. They saw him as a dictator as well, because he was recklessly using the Iranians' money to buy weapons, unbeknownst to the Iranian people, just using their textiles to buy American weapons that they didn't need. And he was abusing their people off that. That's one of the reasons why they wanted the guy gone. Like, they wanted him gone for a reason now. It's not just, like, think about it. The Ayatollah came to power for a reason. I'm not agreeing with the reason why he's there. I'm not agreeing with the Ayatollah. I'm just giving y'all the background that they don't tell you.
Americans are afraid of Iran. You say you're not afraid, but Americans are afraid of Iran. And they believe that Iran would like to strike the United States with a nuclear weapon. They see video of Iranians saying death to America, describing our country as the great Satan. What is your opinion of that? Should we be afraid of Iran?
I believe that this is a very wrong impression that anybody might have of Iran or the Iranians. I would like to remind you that Iran has never invaded another country in the last 200 years. When they say death to the United States, it doesn't mean death to, they don't mean death to the people of the United States or even to the officials of the United States. They mean death to crimes, death to killing and carnage, death.
All right, then. So let's go back. Well, what does that chant to the death to America means? Because I'm pretty sure he was explaining that. Now, it's kind of funny. I held the same belief that I'm like, they're not talking about American people. They're really talking about our government and the atrocities that our government has committed in the Middle East. But, nobody wouldn't hear that argument. Nobody wants to hear it. So I'll let this man say it. And shout out to my man Held Back. He says, I hate Chinese gov, mate.
Afraid of Iran. And they believe that Iran would like to strike the United States with a nuclear weapon. They see video of Iranians saying death to America, describing our country as the great Satan. What is your opinion of that? Should we be afraid of Iran?
I believe that this is a very wrong impression that anybody might have of Iran or the Iranians. I would like to remind you that Iran has never invaded another country in the last 200 years. When they say death to the United States, it doesn't mean death to, they don't mean death to the people of the United States or even to the officials of the United States. They mean death to crimes, death to killing and carnage, death to supporting killing others, death to insecurity and instability. This is, have you ever heard that an Iranian killing an American? Have you ever heard that? Or a terrorist that was Iranian and he carried out a terrorist attack against the Americans? No, it was your president who confessed that the Americans created the ISIS in our region, and they were responsible for this wrong image that is portrayed of religion or the Muslims in the world. And once again,
we've caused stability in multiple Muslim countries, and and then we get mad when they say something about it. That is kind of how Americans kind of feel about it. And I do believe because we don't understand the history. We did basically implant ISIS in their country, and it was effing them up. Like, all because we were trying to have a regime change. It's like, bro, we've been trying to do this to these guys for a minute now. So, like I said, I get that one, they are a threat, and this ain't no pro-Iranian speech. But let's keep it real and let's remember that. Let's try to make sure that, I would say this. Let's try to have an understanding for them at this point that we have been aggressors as well. We just can't treat them as if they've been the only aggressors throughout time. Oh, look, bro, we proxied ISIS into their damn country, but we want to talk about the proxies that they do. We still proxy into this damn day. So, both sides are wrong. I just don't like the complete villaination on one side as if we're just holier than thou. And not, come on now, of all countries, I understand we're the strongest, but understanding that we're the strongest doesn't mean we're the most, holiest of countries with our power.
I would like to tell you and remind you that this is not
Absolute power
death
corrupts
to the
absolutely.
American people or to the officials. Death to crimes and atrocities.
And shout out to my man Vlasin. Iran should stop sponsoring terrorism against Americans traveling abroad and stop encouraging the Houthis to blow up American capitalism on ships. I mean, here's the thing. The Houthis, they're doing that too. Well, like I said, they're only doing this because of the Palestinians. Like I said, you got to actually understand what they're doing it for. Because if we don't understand them, then they're never going to stop, Vlad. Like, you just telling them to stop and you just saying stop or else I'm going to whoop your ass. Well, they're just going to turn back around and keep doing it. You're not really trying to understand the situation. You're just trying to over dominating force on them. I mean, how's that worked out for us so far? I'm just saying.
To bullying, to the use of force, and anybody who would like to become an accomplice in the crimes perpetrated by others.
2 Iranian ayatollahs have issued fatwas against Donald Trump. What does that mean exactly, and what do you think of it?
To the best of my knowledge, they have not issued decrees or fatwas.
Remember, a fatwa is a religious ruling
Against any individual or against Donald Trump. And first off, it has nothing to do with the Iranian government or to His Eminence, the Supreme Leader of Iran. What they actually meant by the fatwa was in condemnation of an insult to a religion or religious personalities, and they were actually saying that this is deplorable, this is unacceptable. So it was not directed.
Hey, and shout out Sandra. Appreciate the support, sis. She ain't had too much to say. She just wanted to show some support. Appreciate that. And I'm going to go ahead and put up this call-in link right after this interview. Don't worry, I got you guys.
Towards the U.S. president or any other individual. And there might be people with their own ideas and opinions, but I can assure you that the meaning of this fatwa should not be construed or considered as a threat against any individual.
Has Iran ever backed an assassination attempt against Donald Trump?
This is actually what Netanyahu is trying to insinuate and to make your people or the president of your country to believe. But this is wrong because Netanyahu, as I said, has his own...
Netanyahu is Netanyahu. Yeah, I go lie. It sounds like you say Netanyahu, but it's Netanyahu they're trying to say. So you're pretty much trying to say Netanyahu's the one who fed the lie to America, pretty much saying that, oh, Iran is trying to assassinate Trump. And I would say, we can take that one with a grain of salt because, of course, Iran's going to blame Israel and Israel's going to blame Iran.
Agenda. It wants to drag the U.S. into forever wars, as I said, and to bring more insecurity, instability, and unrest to the whole region.
There are some large number of Iranian nationals living in the United States.
And guys, this is what the problem is. All right, now, and I hate to say this to, people on the right and people on the left, because it kills me. It kills me that people actually feel this way. And just because me and Tucker actually tried to figure out what the other side is feeling, what the problem is, what our atrocities was, and we just don't believe what the American side is. We're just the hero every single time, when that's been proven to be false almost every single time. But then all of a sudden, I got my guys in the chat here just want me to go along with the American narrative that's been wrong multiple times that we can admit, and I'm just supposed to see these people as evil, just like I was supposed to in 9/11, right? But here's the thing, though. They've been feeding Muslim hate for a while now, and I point that out. Now all of a sudden, I'm supporting Iran. I'm here in Iran now, and I'm supporting them. But here's the thing. This is history. If you guys just look this up, you will understand why I'm actually backing them up a little bit. I'm not saying that America's in the wrong. I'm not saying that Iran should win. No. What I'm giving you is the background details. Because sadly, American code, we're not telling it. We're not telling the real story of what's going on in the Middle East. We're just saying that, we're the ones playing the victims here, actually. Well, we're the complete aggressors. We're the ones sponsoring most of the wars and the conflicts. We're the ones that turn our backs on certain groups just to support their enemies. And I bring it up, and now I support Iran. It's like, do y'all want the truth or not? Or do y'all just want an echo chamber? Because I can't give that to you, and I'm sorry. All right.
Some have said they are, quote, sleeper cells. They are terrorists who are acting at the command of your government. Would you right now make a statement to Iranian citizens living in the United States not to commit acts of violence in the United States?
You see, these things you're telling me, this is the first time I'm hearing them from you or from anybody. The Iranians are known for their knowledge, for their science, for their.
You know what? I'll even tell y'all where to start. Scott Horton. Look up Scott Horton. He wrote 2 books on it. All right. He done plenty of podcasts. The man's a real historian when it comes to the conflicts in the Middle East. Look that up. Actually go outside the American narrative, as I always ask you guys to do. But all right, though, I'm gonna stop harping on that one.
Courtesy for being civilized. Have you seen otherwise from them? Any other kind of behavior from them, or any violent behavior? Has anybody ever seen anything from them? Yeah, as I said, this is what Israel is trying to put into your minds. They're propagating that Iranians might be capable of doing such a thing, but this is totally untrue, because by nature Iranians are pro peace and tranquility, and they're trying to actually make to somehow impact the minds of the decision makers and the people of the United States, and to scare them into getting
like Fox. You're not, brother. I don't think you're listening to me. You're not listening to me when I don't see how acting Iran what the problem is, and then being like, oh, it's America. Oh, yeah, it's America. Because it is America. That's the problem. When you ask the other side what's really going on, you tend to find out like, huh. And then when they can back it up with proof, and then when other historians on our side back it up as well, you're kind of just like, all right, it's us. The problem is we hear about this stuff and we discount it because it's coming from them. And I get that. But I ask you to try to look into it more, because you'll find out that a lot of what these Middle Eastern countries are saying about American aggression is true. Like, what, you think they'd make this stuff up? Well, maybe.
Involved in a war in my region that is not going to.
Oh, yeah, and shout out to Sandra. Said everyone forgets the Iranian hostage situation in the 80s. Good point.
To ensure any kind of interest for the United States. It is not to be in the interest of the United States to be involved in any kind of war in my region.
It wasn't that long ago, it was during the revolutionary period in Iran, that Iran had relations with Israel and commercial relations with Israel, and reputedly bought weapons from Israel. What happened? How did that change? Who changed it and why, that relationship?
Israel itself is to blame, because just look at what they have been doing in the last couple of years in Palestine, in Gaza. What Netanyahu has been doing, killing women and children, bombing schools and hospitals and civilian and residential areas. This is nothing short of a full-scale genocide there. They have blocked the entry of food and medicine, any kind of humanitarian relief to Gaza. So this has adversely impacted the way my country and the whole region looks at Israel. And this, I mean, their own behavior and their own actions are to blame, because this is unacceptable what they have been doing in my region. And as far as I know, we have never received any kind of weapon from Israel. And I would like to tell you, even at that time, we did not want to have weapons. We did not want to have wars. We did not want to fight the Iraqis. It was the war that was imposed on us. And just like the way that this war was imposed on us by the Israeli regime, we did not attack Israel. They attacked us.
Can you imagine at the end of the diplomatic exchange with the United States, a world in which American companies invest again in Iran, sanctions are lifted, there is peace in the region. Is that your goal? And do you think it's possible?
You know, from the very beginning of my administration, I first tried to have the domestic solidarity and unity, further unity amongst the Iranian people.
Hey, shout out to my man Cool Bean. He said, "What happened to that criticized government energy y'all carry in every domestic situation, but in foreign affairs, man, we're never the problem." I mean, God damn it! I gotta give you that one. I gotta give Cool that. I gotta give you that one, Cool. And that is what I have been seeing. It's like, so we understand to blame it in the Epstein situation, how they're fucking us on that. But then we don't understand how they fucking us on geopolitical politics as well. We don't understand the foreign affairs. That is what kind of irritates me sometimes about, well, I would say, and I've only been seeing this from the right, like the left. This is the only thing, and I will say the only goddamn thing you guys get right is the foreign affairs. That's it. That's all y'all get right. That's all I'll ever give you guys. So congratulations.
Then we tried to have better relations with our neighboring countries of Iran. And then I had this talk with His Eminence, the Supreme Leader of Iran, and during which His Eminence emphasized that there is no limitation and there is nothing preventing the U.S. investors to come to Iran and to make investments in Iran, even presently, and there has never been any limitation, anything barring them from coming into Iran, and this is the belief of the Supreme Leader of Iran. And but once again, I would like to tell you that it is Israel that does not want such things to happen in the region. Israel does not want to see peace and tranquility in the region. But I would like to once again repeat that the United States President, Mr. Trump, is he's capable enough to guide the region towards a peace and a brighter future, and put Israel in its place, or get into a pit, an endless pit or a swamp, and that is a war that Netanyahu wants the United States or the U.S. president to be dragged into. So it is up to the United States president to choose which path that I told you about. And as I told you, there is nothing preventing the commercial or industrial or economic activities by the U.S. Business people and investors. And of course, if there was a limitation, it was caused by the U.S. sanctions, not by us.
Mr. President, my final question: if we wind up in a broader war, could you expect assistance from Russia and China, military and economic assistance from your allies, Russia and China?
We have always put our trust in God, and in God we trust, and we are capable enough to defend ourselves and to stand on our own 2 feet and to defend our.
Nah, Foxy, you are right though. I mean, Fox is right. At the end of the day, and like I said, even though I may not have agreed at how we got here, I'm happy that we're here. Because Iran doesn't have a nuclear facility. They're not able to enrich their uranium. And now they're pretty much at a stalemate, and we're watching them like a hawk right now. So they can't even try to enrich uranium. Even if they try, we're just going to catch it. So, yeah, we got Iran right where we want them, I would say. But here's the thing. Are we always just going to keep surveillance on these guys to make sure that they never get a nuke? It could be the most surveilled Muslim country in the world, huh? And you know what? Whatever it takes to assure American safety. Let's never forget our hand in the matter, though. Let's never forget that part.
Country, our territorial integrity to the last drop of our blood. As I have said again and again, we don't want wars. We don't want to develop a nuclear weapon. And this false image, this wrong mentality created in the minds of the U.S. decision makers and officials is because of of the devilish machinations instigated by Netanyahu and the Israeli regime and its policies based on warmongering. And the US president should know that another war will only spread more instability in the Middle East, and it is not going to be in the interest or in favor of the U.S. president or the U.S. government to move in that or towards that direction. They
Shalom, my friend. Shout out to my man Vlad.
Instead need to choose peace and tranquility, which is something that I am and my government and my country are after. And I also, as I said, I believe that the U.S. president is powerful enough to put Israel to Netanyahu in their place, to contain them and replace the warmongering, bloodshed, and conflicts with peace and tranquility.
Mr. President, thank you for taking the time to explain your perspective. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for providing me with an opportunity to tell you about what is going on in my mind and in my heart. And I hope that peace and tranquility will prevail, not just for the people of the United States, for the U.S. officials, but for the whole world, and especially the people of my region. And thank you again.
Now, oh man. Those were forces in Iran strongly opposed to this interview. We'd like to thank Azam Media and its CEO, independent journalist. Okay, all right, bet. I mean, of course, there are people in the background who made it work. But all right, guys, I know what y'all saying. Like, now, do y'all believe that? And I don't blame you. And I need y'all to be skeptics. All right, we can't just agree in here. Shoot. All right, guys, let's get right to it though. With Piers Morgan and